Hello and welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I'm running really late today. Life has got in the way of Sudoku solving. There is absolutely no excuse for it, but it has happened. I'm rushing to my desk at nearly 5 p.m, which means that if I can't do today's puzzle, I'm in real trouble. And unfortunately, I have no idea what today's puzzle is. Mark has sent it to me. He sent it to me this morning, and I've not had a chance to look at it, and he wants me to open it live on camera, which I'm very happy to do. And in fact, why don't we get on with doing that? I'm just going to paste it into my browser, and we will see what we've got. We've got the Magic Column, and like a chessboard or a big chessboard, the Magic Column by Marty Sears. I do not know that name. Let me just read the rules to this one, so we can. There's no 3x3 boxes. How big is this grid? Is it square? It is square. It's 10 by 10. Okay. Each column contains the digits 1 to 9 once, with no repeats, plus one empty cell, which can be shaded green when found. Okay. Additionally, no digit may be repeated along any diagonal. What? That's sort of Uber Queen's moves then. However, digits may repeat within a row. Okay. What sort of Sudoku is this? One of the columns is magic. Oh, hang on. Sorry, that's more life getting in the way. It's not going well, is it? And I was just reading about about a magic column. One of the columns is magic. Each digit in the magic column tells you how many times that digit appears in its row. E.g., the 3 in the magic column. Oh, we don't know where the magic column is. E.g., the 3 in the magic column has exactly 3 3s in its row, including itself. Digits along a thin blue line always add up to 10. Blue lines never pass through any empty cells. What on earth is this thing he sent me today? He is a rotten thing. I suppose, to be fair to him, though, he didn't know that life was going to get in the way today. So he thought, even if this is monstrous, I would have time to either fail at it and then try something else, or complete it in 3 or 4 hour video. Now, I don't have time to do a 3 or 4 hour video. I'm going to try this, but I'm probably not going to give it, if I get absolutely stuck and I can't do anything after, say, half an hour, then I might have to abandon it and move on to something more straightforward. It sounds fascinating, though, doesn't it? Anyway, what do I need to talk to you about other than the actual puzzle? A few things. Let me start off with the birthday. Matilda, you've turned 21 today, and I know this because your friend, I think it's Eliza, but it could be Elisa, wrote to us, and I wish you a very happy day indeed. I hope you've had lots of cake. Other than that, we've got the Kickstarter going on. Less than 2 weeks, I think, now to go on the Kickstarter. Let me show you a picture of the book, the magnificent Cracking the Cryptic's Greatest Hits Volume 2. If you've not grabbed a copy yet, do try and grab a copy. It is the only way to get a copy. And as I say, not long left to do that. Next thing, the Gas Pack. The Gas Pack should be out now on all platforms. These are original puzzles by Clover, Sam Kappelman-Lyons and Philip Newman. And they're fabulous. They take less time, I suppose, than some of the puzzles in our other apps, but they're almost more enjoyable because you don't have to sweat so much. They are just gorgeous, and they're a great way of learning how to approach these variant Sudoku puzzles. So I wholly commend them to you. The way to get it is go to the Cracking the Cryptic app on App Store, Steam, Android, and then search for the Gas Pack once you've downloaded the free Cracking the Cryptic app. Now, next, over on Patreon, we have 2 bonuses for you today. I know it's near the start of the month, but we don't like to let our patrons down. So many of our patrons have tried the Another Language classic Sudoku set by Shye and Jovial, and very well done to the winners of the competition for the solution guide to that puzzle, which I announced yesterday. Well, today I'm delighted to share with you 2 videos about that puzzle, a puzzle that merits 2 videos no less. One of the videos is by Shye and Jovial, talking about how they set the puzzle, how they viewed the solution path as working. It's fascinating. Now the other video is a longer video, and it's by a viewer. It's by Matt Bouyack, and Matt put together a video explaining how he thought about the puzzle, and I thought it was a brilliant video. Jovial and Shye also thought it was brilliant. They thought it was the best video solution we received, and Matt has very kindly agreed that his video can be shared with our patrons as well. So there are 2 bonus videos for our patrons right today, so do have a look at those. And if you have any interest in sort of esoteric Sudoku topics like girth symmetrical placement and how uniqueness can affect the thinking about solving puzzles, you need to watch those videos. They are really, really cool. And other than that, of course, the other thing we've got going along on Patreon is the magnificent Labours of Hercules Sudoku hunt, and we're getting lots and lots of correct entries, and the authors of that hunt, Peter Veenis, Aspartagcus and Panthera, deserve all the credit in the world. The feedback has been absolutely terrific, as you'd expect, and I've got some more names for you, for people who have already got through all 12 of the labours. So very well done to Andrew Miller, to Tranchi Hui, I think, Jim Davis, Jai Redden. I hope your broken shoulder is better, Jai. That sounds very painful. Jonathan J. Harsh, Brett Gator, Matt Boss, John Lotties, I think, Anne-Marie DeHaan, Barry Spatz, Senator Gronk, Stuart Tierney, Matthew Brockwell, Grockles, Michelle Koopmanch, it could be Michael Koopmanch as well. I'm not very good with foreign pronunciations, as you all know, and Abhinav Jain as well. And then finally, I want to say congratulations to Fool on Hill, whose real name is Mark, and it's his 60th birthday today, and I know this because his daughters Naomi and Judith wrote to me. So Fool on Hill, many happy returns, an absolutely brilliant solver who frequently recommends puzzles to us, all of which tend to be quite difficult but normally beautiful as well. So we hope you have a fantastic 60th birthday, and with that I must get on with the magic column. I've read the rules. I'm not quite sure I understand them. Do have a go at the puzzle yourselves. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, the only thing I thought as I read the rules was that the magic column, wherever that lives, must have one of every digit in it. And therefore there is going to be a very bizarre row in this puzzle that has an awful lot of 9s in it. It's going to have exactly... Oh, hang on. Hang on a minute. Yeah, okay. I've just realised something which perhaps is totally blatantly obvious to everybody, but it wasn't obvious to me. Yeah, there are more than 9 9s to place in this puzzle, though, aren't there? Yeah, okay, if we sort of do a brief audit of the number of cells, there are 100 cells in this puzzle, but we're told that each column contains the digits 1 to 9 once each, and there are 10 columns. So there are 10 blanks and 10 of each digit to place. Oh, this is really throwing me. I'm so used to Sudoku. I was thinking, 9 9s. That means there's going to be a whole row of 9s, and... Well, that's actually really weird. That's really weird. So imagine this was the magic column. Then this 9 would be saying there are 9 9s in this row, but there are 10 cells in this row. So there must be a cell in this row that's not a 9, but somehow I've got to put another 9 in the grid that can't, so it's going to be in the blank column, but it mustn't be on the same diagonal as the 9 nines. Right, okay. So I think, I'm not sure what I can say here, but I think it's not possible for the 9 nines to live in sort of a middly row of this puzzle. And the reason I say that is, imagine I tried to put 9 nines in there. Where could I hide the 10th 9 where it wouldn't be seen on a diagonal with the 9 nines? These are not questions I'm used to asking in these videos, but that must be, it must be impossible. You can't put a 9 in any other position in this puzzle that's not sort of a queen's move away from one of those 9s. I mean, it's not going to be something like, if I put a 9 there, does that somehow open? No, I've got to put the 9 in one of those cells. I can't put it here. I can't put the 10th 9 in this row, although I do want to, because if I do put it in that cell, the indexing's not going to work, in the sense that if I did have 10 9s in a row, whichever the magic column is, the number of 9s it's going to be specifying in its row is going to be wrong, because it's going to say there are 9 and there are actually 10. But I sort of want there to be 10, because then the 10th 9 is going to be problematic. Let's try and put 10 9s or 9 9s in the bottom row. I think this is probably going to be what we have to do. It's going to be in an extreme position. And the reason I say that is, if we take this cell, for example, and see how far along the diagonal it goes all the way up there. If we take this cell and go all the way up there, no, this still does. No, this still doesn't work. Oh dear! I'm now not sure I even understand the puzzle. I thought that was going to do something, but then I realised that the 10th 9 has to come in the column that I haven't got a 9 in already, and this still doesn't work. Oh right, okay. Let's think about this some other way. Let's instead look at the lines then, maybe. So that line adds up to 10. What? This is totally bizarre. So it's got an absolute multitude of 1s on it. Yeah, okay. So what's the least number of 1s it can have on it? If it had 1, 2, 3. So if we could have 1 3 on it and 7 1s. That would work. Or we could have 2 2s on it and 6 1s. So there are at least 6 1s on this line. I was about to say this line can't contain the magic column then, but that's not quite true. Because I was thinking that, well, it would be true. It would be true if the magic column... Imagine that was a 1 and this was the magic column. That would utterly be broken. Because obviously it would be saying there's 1 1 in this row, which there couldn't be, because we know there's a whole multitude of 1s along this line. So, yeah, but that could be a 2. That could be a 2, and then all you have to do is find 2 2s. So it isn't true to say. I was thinking maybe I could eliminate the magic column from going through this big long line, but I don't think I can even do that. Right, so the fact is this line is made up of digits that are no higher than 3. Ah, yes, okay. And now that can't be 3, that can't be 3, and diagonally adjacent things can't be 3. So that can't be 3. That's absolutely useless. And I cannot tell you how strange it is for me to look at these pencil marks and not think the puzzle is broken. I'm going to read the rules again. Sorry. Each digit contains the digits 1 to 9 once each. Additionally, no digit may be repeated along any diagonal. One of the columns 1 to 9 plus 1 empty cell in each column. I must remember that. One of the columns is magic. This is the thing we've got to find. Each digit in the magic column tells you how many there are of that digit in the row. I understand that. I just can't understand how to do it. Oh, blue lines. Right, blue lines never pass through any empty cells. Yes, so that's why I was able to do this. Right, okay. That is a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, because those digits are not... They must all not be an empty cell because they're on a blue line, and yet they are all different digits, and we know that 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is the minimum 4 different Sudoku digits can add up to, and that happens to be equal to 10, which is the number we first thought of. Now what we cannot do is eliminate 3s from these two cells, because although these are in the row, there could be more 3s. So what on earth am I meant to do now? I have not got a clue. I'm sorry about this. I am not doing very well here, am I? Maybe I've got to go back to thinking about 9s again. That was my first thought. Right, okay, well let's do straightforward eliminations. What rows cannot be or cannot have 9 9s in them? Well, that one can't. There are only 10 cells in each row, and that's already got 2 digits in it, so that can't have 9 9s, that can't have 9 9s, that can't have 9 9s. This one can't have 9. Hang on, the given 9 is ruling out 2. That's it, right. The given 9 is ruling out cells here. So I was just thinking about this, and I was feeling proud of myself for noticing those 2 digits can't be 9, when I suddenly thought, actually, that cell sees that one, and on the diagonal it sees that one. So these 2 cells could never be 9, and that's going to work for this row as well. That can't be 9, and that can't be 9, and that's enough to eliminate 9, or eliminate this row's ability to have 9 9s in it. The same is true here. Those 2 cells can't be 9. The same is going to be true here. Yes, it is. So I think this might be the 9 9 row by force. It is. Yeah, okay. So now I've got something. This row here has 9 9s in it. I don't know how to pencil mark that. I'm going to do it like that. Right. Oh, right. And this... Well, hang on. Aren't I going to run into exactly the same problem I thought when I tried to put 9 9s in the bottom row? I thought 9s were going to be in an extreme position. But I've got to put a 10th 9 in this grid now that's not in this row, and yet somehow is unseen by all of the 9s I'm going to be putting up here. So if we have 9s in the far corners there and there, see, why does that work now? I don't know why it didn't work before. But yeah, okay, that's quite interesting, because if you did have, you can see, yeah, that there are spaces where I can hide a 9 in one of those. Now obviously these 2 can't be 9 because they have 3s and 6 in it, but yeah, okay, it is possible, I think, to hide a 9 somewhere where the 9s in this row aren't going to see it, because even if I put a 9 in the extreme positions like this and this, the diagonals don't see these cells, so I'd not be able to have 9s in both of those cells, because that would eliminate. So if we had 9s in those cells, then there wouldn't be, I think, any spot in this grid where I could hide a 9 away. Thing is, I don't know if this is generalizable though. Does that mean I can assume those are 9s? Or is that going to be... Is that imprudent to do that? I don't know. I am not sure. I know there are 9 9s in this row. I've got to put a 10th 9 somewhere in the grid where the 9 9s in this row. I mean, maybe we can do it a different way. I sort of feel like the 9's going to be up here, but I'm not certain that it's necessarily the case. What if that wasn't a 9? Then those would be... Yeah, I mean, you can see this has to be a 9, actually. Because if it wasn't a 9 and we made all of those 9s, then I need to put a 9 in this column. It can't go here, because then wherever the magic column is, it's going to have a 9 in it, and it should have a 10 in it, because there will be 10 9s in this row. And obviously none of those cells can be 9, because they're going to see these 9s on the diagonal. So maybe that's a way of doing it. That is definitely a 9 in the finished grid. That's a digit. That's an actual digit I've got. So presumably that must work for this cell as well, doesn't it? If that's not a 9, I've got to put a 9 in this column that's not seen by all of those 9s. Well, I mean, I think it's fairly clear to me that the 9s see every other cell in this, so that's definitely a 9. Okay, maybe this is how we do it. I just don't think do I dare to assume. It feels like a slight assumption to me to say that these are the only possible cells that can't be hit by 9 9s in this row. How could I do that more elegantly? Is there some sort of clever logic that I can do? I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure. So if this wasn't a 9, then the 9's in one of those positions, but every cell on that, I mean, it's very clear that every cell on this line is seen by this string of 9's. So that's also a 9. So presumably that's going to work for this cell as well. I.e., if this wasn't a 9 and we had 9's in all of these cells, we've got to put a 10th 9 in column 2 that's not seen on a diagonal with the existing 9's, and yet every cell on that diagonal is seen, so that's also a 9. Let's try this one. Maybe we just have to iterate towards this to completely convince myself, at least, that it's forced to be up here, which is where I think it's going to have to be. If this is not a 9, we get 9's in those cells, which means we have to put a 9 in one of these, and that one you can see is clipping the top, and everything else is seen, so that's a 9. What about this one? If this is not a 9, we've got 9's in all of these, we've got 9's in those. Yeah, okay, I'm starting to feel like what I said is correct. It was my gut reaction, but it's just quite hard to see. You can see this 9 here doesn't quite, it gets to there, but it never clips this cell. So yes, maybe the way to think about it is to say that those cells there, they simply are not seen by any 9 on this diagonal, and therefore these are always going to be available to hide a 9 away. And once we've got 9's here and here, sort of every other cell you can sort of feel is getting covered, can't you? So actually, okay, I'm now much more confident. There is a 9 in one of those cells, and therefore one of these two cells is not a 9. in this row, and these are both 9s. Which, well, that gives me a 1 here. Okay, that's a 1 by maths. 9 plus 1 is equal to 10. Now that 1, does that see? It does. It sees that little cell. So that's got rid of one of the... Oh, hang on. That's got rid of 2. Oh, that's beautiful. Good grief. Right. That cell, which is a 1, takes a 1 out of that cell. So that's got to now be a 2, because it can't be a 3. But there was another cell I just looked at. This cell can't be a 1 either, so that's at least a 2. And now I've got 2 2s on the line. So the rest of the line must be 1s in order to add up to 10. Good, that's amazing. I love the way I can just fill stuff in. Once I get a deduction like that, you can just fill in great swathes of the grid, which feels very, very good. Right, that's not a 1 now. I want to eliminate 1 and 2 from here, but that's just nonsense, isn't it? Right, I can't put 9 up here now, because that would have to accompany a 1. And that can't be a 1 by diagonal logic, and that can't be a 1 by diagonal logic. So there's no 9 up here, so there's a 9 in one of these 2 cells now. And what does that mean? Well, right, I know what right, aha, got it, right. Row 3 must surely massively, massively, massively restrict where the magic column can be, because this was logic I was thinking about a few minutes ago. If the magic column is in any position that overlaps a 1 in this row, it's broken. You know, if we make that the magic column, this cell is saying there's 1 1 in this row, which there clearly isn't. There's loads. So that means that the only positions that could be the only columns that could be the magic column are that one, that one, that one, and that one. Now, what... Well, that is a very interesting one, isn't it? That is a very interesting one. Because I think my gut reaction here, again, I'm going to give you my gut reaction and then prove myself wrong probably. My gut reaction is that either column 1 or whatever column that is the magic column. And that's because I like the idea of these 2s. There are 2 2s in this row, and I can't see, I've been thinking about it, I can't see how to fill these 2 digits in with something other than 2 and make the magic work. The magic will fail. Because if we put 3 in there, for example, and say that's the magic column, I can't put 3 3s in here. It's impossible. So it must be a 1 or a 2 that is the magic digit. But if I was to put 2 in either of these, I'd be breaking the magic. There'd be too many 2s then. So 2 is the magic digit. These 2 digits are not able to be 2 for that reason. And these 2 digits are not able to be magical for that reason. So that means either this column, which would, well, I mean, it works fine with the 9s, doesn't it? Or this column. That would mean this column, I'd get quite, well, actually both columns I'd get a bit of information about other digits. This one I'd know there would be loads of 7s in this row. How many... Ooh, maybe I can get more 1s actually. I'm just thinking about that. I've got 7 1s. I need 3 more 1s in the open columns. Where does that sit? That one here sees a fair amount, doesn't it? It sees that cell. So that can't be a 1. That can't be a 1. Actually, that can't be a 1, because if that was a 1, that would be a 9, and that would break that, so that's not a 1 either. So maybe 1 in this column is not there. Oh, can it be here? I'm not sure. Maybe it can be there. Okay, where can't it be? It can't be there, 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 or there. If that's a 1, that's a 9. That doesn't work, so it's not here. Can it be there? No, that's on a diagonal. It can't be the same as a 9. That sees that one. That one sees that one. Right. Okay, that's a 1. So now I've got 8 ones. I've got to put a... Ah, beautiful. Beautiful, yes. Look, this column, where does the 1 go now? It's not in those 2 cells, so it's here. So now I've got loads of 1s in this row, and I need my final 1 of the grid, which I know is in this column, and I'm probably going to be able to get it, I think. Can't be there. Can't be there. Not there. Can go on the same row as another 1, can't it? Hang on. Can it be here? Oh, this is so weird. Can it really be that I can't get the last digit? That's so peculiar. Okay, I don't understand that, but it seems to be true. That is not seeing that, is it? I can repeat digits as I seem to have done here. Right, hang on. So how do we do this? One of these 1s must be ruled out by something. Oh, this puzzle is absolutely mental. It's absolutely mental. Okay, so right, let me come back to this. I know I'm jumping around all over the place. It's because I have not got a clue what I'm doing here. I've got to think about which one of these is the magic column. And I feel like that's going to be, well, 8 is the most restricted digit, isn't it? Well, there's a given 8 as well. So which column of this... No. Which row of this puzzle can have 8 8s in it? And the reason I think that's quite an interesting question is that this using its diagonal property and its vertical property, for example, that row, this row here, can't have 8 8s in it because that cell and that cell are ruled out by the given 8, and that's a 5, and that's not an 8 either. So actually, right, that is not the 8 8s row. Ah, could it be that one? If that's an 8, what's that saying? Then we're saying all of those cells become 8s, which would make this a 2. I bet you that's right then. Oh no, hang on, there's a 9. Oh no, it's not right. There is a 9 in one of these, of course. Right, sorry, no, I can't make... I thought it was that was going to be correct. But actually you can't put... I simply can't fill all of those cells with 8s because one of those needs to be a 9. Okay, so it's not this row, it's not this row. It's definitely not the top row because that can't be an 8. And there's a 3 and a 6 in it. So we know there can only be 2 cells that are not 8s. So actually it's none of these. Now what about this, the 5th row? Can that be an 8 row? That wouldn't be able to be 8. That wouldn't be able to be 8. That doesn't work. Because that would mean those two are both 8s, and double 8 doesn't add up to 10. What about this one then? No, I can instantly see that doesn't work, because there's a 7 in the row and neither of these other cells that I've highlighted can be 8s because of this given 8. What about this row then? Maybe it's this one, because that would allow all of those to be 8s. I'm just going to pause for a moment while I think about that. That might be possible. I can't see what's wrong with that one immediately. Let's try... that one. Ah, lovely. Look, this doesn't work, this row, because that one sees that, and it, believe it or not, it sees that one as well. So there'd be 3 cells that couldn't be 8s. That's too many. And the bottom row, well, the bottom row is trickier. We can rule out this cell for being an 8, but I don't think it's going to work, because we'd still have to have 2 8s on this line, wouldn't we? Because although I don't have to put an 8 here, let's put a 1 there, for example, and then I could have one of these other cells that didn't have an 8 on it. 2 of the rest of them would have to have 8s on, because I need to have so many 8s in this row. So it is this row, which means that there is either an 8 in this cell or this cell in order to index the 8 8s that are going on in this row. And we know, actually, don't we, exactly where these 8s go. They go in those cells, and those cells. So that's 8s. Look at that. We get a massive load of 8s in the grid. We get right. Well, presumably I get the 10th 8. Well, that's, I say presumably, I probably won't, but I'm going to try and get it. So I've got to put an 8 in this column. It can't go here, because that would make the indexing wrong for this row. So it's got to go. Where can it go? It can't go anywhere. No. It can't go there. It can't be a 9th one in a row. It can't go there. It can't go there. It can't go there. It's not a 1. It can't go. Oh, it can go. Oh, maybe it can go there. That's so weird. Can it go there? No, it sees that one. Right, so maybe it goes there. That's an 8. Although that repeats an 8 in the row, that's not disallowed. Right, so that's a 2. That doesn't affect this cell. Right, I've got all 10 8s now. And okay, so we move on to 7s. Is that what we do next? I'm not sure. Okay, I'm intrigued by this given 7 and whether that's going to allow us to conclude this is the magic column. So if that's a 7, can we put 7 on these lines? If you put 7 there, this would have to be a 1-2 pair, and it can't be because the 1s would rule that out. So that is not a 7. Right, let's just label with yellow cells in this row that can't be 7. Can I put 7 on this one or that one? I'm not going to get the same problem. I need those to be a 1-2 pair, and that one rules that out. This one rules that out, so that can't be a 7. So neither of those can be a 7. So I need to put a 7 here. I can't do it. Wow. Oh, this is beautiful. Done it. Well, when I say I've done it, that's probably the most inaccurate description ever applied to a partially complete Sudoku. But I don't think any of these cells can be yellow, and I think I've just convinced myself this is not yellow, because this is not 7. If it's 7, that has to be 3 by maths, and it can't be. It would repeat the 3 in column, whatever that is, column 10. So the implication of this is that that is not indexing the 7 7s in this row. So that is not the magic column. And this has become the magic column. And that is so... I'll tell you what I think is so beautiful about that. I now know where my 1 goes in this column. Because if that was a 1, it would be wrong. There would be 2 1s in the row. So that can't be a 1, which places the 1 there. You see, I wonder if there was some logic I could have done about that earlier. I don't know. I didn't even think about, or I didn't think hard about how many 1s there would be in a row and how hard it would be to have the 1 in the magic column. Right. So this column, all the pressure is off. There's six 6s in the top row. Right, how many gaps have I got? 1, 2, 3. I can't put 2 6s on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can get them. Right. Everything in this row is a 6, apart from one of those two digits. So that must be a 6-4 pair. We seem to have no fours at all in the grid. I might be wrong about that, but I can't see one. And the only 6s I've got are in the top row, so... Okay. Okay. That's a lot of other 6s I've got to find. You see, I'm thinking, where do I put the 6 in this column? Can I put a 6 on this line at the bottom? Oh, actually, this line at the bottom can't have a 1 on it. And it has to add up to 10. Ah! So it's got to be made up of 2s, 3s and 4s. It is possible to have a 4 in it if the other 3 cells were all 2s. But it's not possible for it to have a 5 on it, because the other 3 cells, even if we minimise them at 3 2s, would then add up to 11. So this is from 2, 3 and 4. And that's not a 3. How many? Okay, we've got 2 3s in the grid. Have I got any 2s that are useful? The answer to that is no. It's weird seeing these 2 2s in the row. Okay. What about that digit? You often tell me that I should look where my cursor is, and it happened to be there, so I thought I'll look at it. And actually, that cell can't be 1, 9, or 2, or 8. So oh no. Oh, it's not. I suddenly had a horrible thought that it could be 5, which ordinarily, of course, would be total and utter gibberish in a sudoku, and real sudoku. But it's only gibberish here if the line is that can't be 5. But that one can be, except that is ruling out a 5 from that. Thank goodness. So this is either 3 7 or 4 6. And that's not 6, so that's not 4, and that is a legitimate deduction. 7s. Oh, I've still got to think about where the 7 is in the magic column. I'm going to think about that next. Let me just have a quick think about whether I can do better with this. 3 sees that cell by the diagonal, so that's not 7. So this is 6 7 3 4 now. Let's try 6 again. No, or... Okay, don't know how to do that. Apologies. Right, let's come back to this column then. I've got to put 7. That can't be 7. No, that can't be 7. There are not enough gaps that are capable of being 7. So that's not 7. If that's 7, that... Well, yeah, it's not making that a 6. Oh, when is it going to go into your head, Simon? Right, why can't this be 7? Did I conclude I couldn't put 7? Did I conclude I couldn't put 7 on these lines? Maybe I did. Hang on. Maybe I've got to think about these lines before I think about 7s. I'm not sure. Oh, okay, this line here. Oh, that can be double. No, it can't be 5. This given 5 actually is doing some work. That one can't be 5 because of this thing. It can't have 8s and 9s on it. So this is either 4 6 or 3 7 as well. Now that is interesting because that cell can't be 3 or 4, which means that cell can't be 6 or 7. So I've now got a 3 4 pair in this column. And I can do it. Oh, this is beautiful. Good grief. That cell's a 4 by diagonal logic, which means that's a 6, that's a 3, that's a 7. That's no longer able to be a 3, so that's come down to 2 or 4. Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, well, that 4 still does something. It rules a 4 out of that cell. Double-click the 2s in the hope that they've somehow improved their performance. Of course, they haven't. 4. I've now got a 4 in the grid. Still doesn't see up here. That's 6, though. Oh, that 6 does see up there. Look, that's got to be a 4 now by diagonal logic, so that's a 6. Now that 4, that 6. I was sort of assuming that was going to help, but no. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. All right, let's check these lines then. We've got to put... Well, that cell is a little bit... It can't repeat a digit in this column. So this column needs 3, 4, 7 and a blank. 3, 4, 7... And we'll put 0, shall we, to indicate the possibility one of these cells is a blank. Now that cell I can see is not 4. Is there anything else I can rule out from it? It can be 3. That 3 is not ruling anything out from it. Okay, that cell can't be 7 by diagonal logic. And that cell's on an arrow or on a blue line, so it can't be... It can't be a nothing. So that's a 3 or a 4. Now that's interesting. Okay, that's interesting because now if that's a 7, that can't be a 7 because that would have to be a 0. In fact, look, I can't put 1 on this blue line at all. So if that's... So if that's a 2, these two have to add up to 8. Which would make this... this can't be 5. Okay, so that would be a 4. If that's a 3... I'm not sure whether it can be a 3, but it might be able to. If it's a 3, that couldn't be a 3, so it would have to go... Oh, that's lovely. That's weird. If that's a 3, that can't be a 3 by diagonal logic, so it has to be a 4. And 3 plus 4 is 7, and that makes that a 3, and that's ruled out by diagonal logic, so that's just not able to be 3. Can it be 4? Well, then that would be a 3, and that would be a 3. And I can have 2 3s in the same row, can't I? So let me think about that. I think that's okay. If this is 4, and this is 3... then that's 3. That does put 2 3s in this row. But unless I think... Oh, there is a 3. Look, that doesn't work either. There's a 3 looking at... This has been put together with some really careful skill, let me tell you that. So that's not 4. I don't think it can be anything else. Once we get to 5, we're going to need a 1 on the line, aren't we? Oh, actually, maybe not. No, well, I can't put 5 on line. Right, that's it. It's 2 double 4. It's the only way of filling this line, believe it or not. So that's great. Surely that's doing something. This puzzle is so rotten. It's rotten, I tell you. Okay, that now is not... Right, that's not 7, because I can't put 7... I can't put 7 7s in that row. That's not 7, because that would require that to be double 7, and that won't work. So 7 in this row is, or in this column is there, and that's the magical 7. So we're allowed to put lots of 7s along here. Now, how many do I need to put in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got some latitude, unfortunately. Although, actually, that one can't be a 7. Oh, yeah, this is good. This line I've not even looked at, but it's a 4 6 pair, because it can't be 7 3, 1 9, or 2 8. So that's 4 6, and don't tell me, yep, that's doing the work. So that's 6, that's 4 by diagonal logic. Ignore that, that's not affecting this at all. So ignore it, Simon, ignore it. That's another 6 as well. And that's got rid of a degree of freedom as well about my positions of 7s. I've now got 8 positions for 7s, and I've got to put 7 7s in. Oh, that's beautiful. That 7 does it. Wow, wow, wow. That 7, oh, all that 7, I could have used either. But that 7 and that 7 combine, rule out that digit. So the rest of this row is all 7'd. And how many 7s have I got now? Lots. I've got 9. So I need a 10th 7. And it's got to be in this column. And I'm going to be able to get that, surely. Surely it's that one. Can that be a 7? No. Can that be a 7? No, no, no. You are kidding me. That's absolutely bizarre, isn't it? So, I think this can be a 7, as it does. Oh, hang on. If it was a 7, that would be a 3. That's why this line's here. I tell you, this is really skillful stuff. Right, I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to check again. That, I think, is the 7 now. That's not a 7 because of that. That's not a 7, not because of the 7 diagonal, but because this can't be a 3. He says, now trying to work out why that can't be a 3. Why did I think that can't be a 3? I don't know now. Hang on, I think I'm going mad. Didn't I just do this logic and I was convinced myself this couldn't be a 7? That can't be a 7. That can't be a 7, or this would be an 8. Right, so why did I think a moment ago this can't... Oh, it's because of... Oh, no, but you can have repeated digits. That's what I've done, isn't it? I've looked at this. I've said that can't be a 3, but there's a 3 because there's a 3 here. And of course, that's wrong. Oh, I don't believe it. So the 7 can go in either of those two places, I think. Oh, that's quite distressing. Wow. Okay. All right. Let's abandon ship there. Let's try 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 8 6s in the grid. I haven't put a 6 in this column, and I haven't put a 6 in this column. So where do they go? In this column, I'm just going to highlight these just to try and force myself to keep track of it. That can't be a 6. That can't be a 6. If that was a 6, this would be a 4. Now, don't be waylaid by anything there, Simon. That can't be a 4, I think, because of that 4. Wow. So that's not a 6. What about this? That's not a 6 because of this 6. So I've done it. Right, there is a 6 here. That is absolutely vicious. I mean, that was vicious, but we got it. So now let's just repeat that trick for this column. That's not a 6 by diagonal. That's not a 6 by diagonal. That's not a 6 by diagonal. So it's one of these two. Now, which one can we get rid of? We can't get rid of that one, so it's probably this one. We can not. I don't know. I think that must be a way of doing that, but I can't see how to do it. Oh no! That's absolutely bizarre. Right, okay, I'm now going to stare at... What am I going to stare at here? Oh, I've got something. What about that diagonal? What about that diagonal and the digit in the corner, which is... And that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight losing its religion. It is a 3 by the most weird thing, because look... There's a 2-4 pair on its diagonal, so it has to be a 3. That knocks 3 out of only one cell. I'm going to check this diagonal actually, because I've got 8 digits on this diagonal, so there's going to be a blank on this diagonal because we can't repeat a digit. We have not placed a 6 on this diagonal. I can't put a 6 there, so that's got to be a blank, which we will label with green as instructed. In fact, I might label it with 0 as well, just to make myself focus on the fact it cannot contain a digit. Now that digit is therefore 6, except it's not. Oops. Oh, right, okay, so is that also blank? That must be also blank, I think. Now those two cells are now 4 and 5 by the power of Sudoku on the column. Oh, I hope you're all enjoying this. I mean, Mark will be tittering away to himself at making me do diagonal scanning and not scanning the rows. He will just be in paroxysms of delight. Right. So maybe that line then. Yeah, oh, actually, yes, look, that line can't have a 1 on it. So these digits have to be quite low. So if that's a 5, we've got to go 2, 3. Which actually might be perfectly possible. These 2s and 3s don't matter. Ignore them, Simon, ignore them. Is anything ruled out from these cells? What's that 2 looking at? Yeah, okay, that one can't be 1 or 2, so that is at least 3. So, can we just check 4s as well? This one here can't be 4, so that's got to be 2 or 3. It can't be 5, that's going to take us too high. This is a minimum of 3. So what are the options here then? If we did conclude this couldn't be 4, didn't we? Or am I now going crazy? No, I didn't conclude that. I concluded it couldn't be 2. Right, so that can be 4, I think. What about 5? If that's 5, that's too high. Right, so these are the options for each of these cells, but I don't know how the combinations are going to work. Yeah, it's the same as before. If that cell is a 3, that cell has to be a 4 because you can't repeat the 3 on the diagonal. So 3 plus 4 is 7, and that isn't able to be 3, so it can't be kept down to 10 overall. So that is 2. These 2 cells are summing to 8, therefore. Now, can I just use that 2 for anything? Let's just check that for a moment. I'm thinking about that column. Where does the 2 go in that column? That can't be a 2. Can this be a 2? No. Right. The 2 in this column is at the bottom. That's good. Now I'm going to try this column for 2s. Can that be a 2? I have no idea. I have no idea at all. That can't be a 2 anymore at the bottom of the grid. Oh, alright. Rather than do it that way round, then I'm going to do it by maths, because that's probably going to be easier. That can't be a 4 now, because if you get a 4 on this line, it's got to have 3 2s with it, and that doesn't seem to be able to be 2 anymore. So that's 2. So now I've got 6 2s in the puzzle, and I've got to put a 2 still in this column here. Now, yeah, this is going to work, isn't it? Where does the 2 go in this column? Double-click the 2s. Double-click the 2s, Simon. It's not here by diagonal with this one. It's not here by diagonal with this one. It's not here by diagonal with this one. Ah, it's beautiful. Good grief. Right, that's 2 at the bottom. That's therefore 6. That's 4. Haha. Now, 4s. What does that 4 go? Oh, look at this. Look at this. Mark would be proud of me for this. Look. That scans all the way up there and sees that one. So that's 2, that's 4. I've now got more 2s than I had before. I've got quite a lot of 2s in quite weird places. I need 1 more. There's 1 more 2 to find, I think. It must be in this column. Right, where does it go? There or there? Right, double-click the 2s and stare. No, this is not funny. Ah, no, it's okay. That 2 here sees those cells on the diagonal. So that is a 2. So this is a 5 by the... Oh, no, that's okay. You can repeat digits in a row. One day I will learn that rule. So this is... Imagine if I can't solve it now. I'm an hour in. That's going to be a disaster. What does this column need? We've not had a blank and we've not had a 5. Right. I've only got 2 5s. And neither of them see those cells, I think. Right, so that's 0 and 5. this column needs 3 digits, which are 3, 5, and 3. Ah, look, where does 3 go in this column? That 3 takes care of 2 places, so that's a 3. That is therefore 0 and 5, and I think we're going to be able to... Oh no, those don't see it. Okay, sorry, I thought for some reason they were going to get rid of that one. So this 3, what's that doing? Not apparently enough. How can none of these 3s that I've got in the grid see these 2 3s, or those 2 possibilities of 3s? That seems really weird. And yet apparently it's true. Right, okay. Okay, I don't really know where to look now. Why is this highlighted in yellow? What was I thinking about in relation to this column? I need 3s, 5s. I need to put 9 in there. Oh. Okay, I've got a 9 in one of these cells, haven't I think? Yeah, I've got this funny little... I don't even know if you can describe it as an X-wing. I think you can, because in the columns it really is an X-wing. Right, let's check this column. 3, 5... 3, 5, 9 and blank is what we're looking for. I'm going to actually do full pencil marking and see what I can eliminate. I can't eliminate 9. I can eliminate 5 from that cell. Can I eliminate blank? No, there's no way to eliminate blank unless I'd already got a blank in the column. Can I eliminate 3? No. That's a very, very unhelpful cell. This one, I can eliminate 9 and 9 from here by X-wing logic. So 5, 3. No, nothing. Oh, that one. That one does see that one. Okay. That 3 sees that one. So I've nearly done it. I have nearly done it. I just have to get rid of one more 3 or possibly a 5. I can't do it, can I? You're all chortling away to yourselves. It's so weird seeing these 5s looking at this cell and not being able to do anything with it. Okay. Alright, so that column is not helping me. Alright, what about this one then? I must know what that is now. It's the only thing I've not looked at. So, it's not a 1-9 pair. It's not a 2-8 pair. I don't think... well, it might be able to be a 3-7 pair. If it was, it would be that way round. Now, let's see why that doesn't work. How can that be a 7? Alright, how can that be a 3? Let's try that. Try it the other way. I don't know, maybe that can work then. Let's try 4 and 6. Ah, that can't be 4. So that would have to be 4, and that would have to be 6. Now, why doesn't that work? I think the 6 will be... the 6 is ruled out by that one. Okay, so 6, 4 isn't working. Double 5 is apparently a thing. My phone is going nuts. Never mind. That's okay. Right, so what else is there that this can be? It's either double 5 or 3, 7. Well, here's something I've not thought about, and that's 5s in this row. Double 5 here would make that very difficult to put any 5s into. You couldn't, if that's double 5, you can't put 5s in any of those cells straight away. So that would mean, for this to be true, if you can't put 5s in those cells, because these would be diagonal, all those would be 5s. which, well, what's wrong with that, we may argue. I don't know is the short. I'm sure there's a problem with this. This feels very cluttered. Actually, hang on, I'm now seeing that can't be 5. Is that really true because of this 5? That's quite important if that's the case. Yeah, okay. So hang on, if I go back to if I have 2 5s here, and I can't have 5s in any of those, that cell seems to have to be a 0. This doesn't work. That cell's gotten... Well, this column has no 5 in it. That's the problem. Because I think I had to make that a 5. So if this is double 5, all of those cells become not 5able. So this is the blank in this column. So everything else has to have a digit in it. But the only place 5 could go was here. But if these aren't 5, I need to put 5s in all of those cells to get to my quota of 5 5s from my magic column. And that 5 rules out a 5 from there. So I can't put 5 in there, so that's not double 5. Whoa. Right, so that's 3. That's 7. And that doesn't... Oh, it does. No, it does. I was about to say it doesn't, but in the columns it does matter. So that's now 4, which means that's 4, that's 5. That doesn't eliminate this as from being a 5. But the 4 might be useful. I've got quite a few 4s now. And this 7, I think this 7 feels to me like it must do something as well. So I've got... Oh, I've got my 10 7s. Oh, that's a bit disappointing. I was hoping that 7 was going to do other things. All right, let's check the 3s as well. I've only got 6 3s. And I got some 4s as well. So I've got I've got 5, I think I've got 9 4s. So I should be able to put my 4 in this column, I think. Which one of these is seeing a 4? No, this isn't fair. This really isn't fair. How can this immense spattering of 4s not eliminate any 4s from column 4? Right, that 4 sees that one, actually. So there's a 4 in one of these two. Now I'm going to stare at this until it reveals something. Which one of these can't be a 4? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's possible then. All right, let's check this column then. We need 0, 4, and 5. So that cell is 0 or 5. 5s? Oh, they're all in the same row, which is weird. So these are 0, 4, or 5. I don't understand that. That's so strange. What about this column? 0 and 5 again. What a surprise. This is a 0, 5 pencil mark. This column, don't tell me. Ah, no, hang on. There's something else going on in this one. We need 3 comes into... 3. Where does 3 go in this column? Can't go in those cells because of that 3 and the diagonal rule. So that becomes a 3. Don't worry about the double 3 there. This 3, boom, 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 sees that cell. So that becomes a 0, 5 pair. I think. It's very weird. I mean, I think that if that logic's correct, that's the only place for 3 in this column. So maybe I'm just going to double check that by saying, can any of these cells be 3? Now, that one rules out that one. That 3 rules out that one. So what rules that 3 out of this? Oh, yeah, that logic is good. Okay, great. So that is a 3. And that must be the 9. Oh, which we could have seen another way. Because in placing this 3, look, we took the pencil mark of a 9. And that gives me a 6 here as well. So that's a 9. And this column's got a bit fuller. We need 0, 3, and 5 into those cells. 0, 3, 5. Now, what can we get rid of? Apparently, no 5s can be got rid of, but 3s we must. I've got loads of 3s now. Yes, that 3 gets rid of that one. And what about this one? Can we get rid of anything from... Yes, that 3 sees that one. This is really difficult for me, at least. So that becomes a 3. That means that can't be a 3, look. So that's got to be a 0, which means that's the 3 in this column. That's a 0. Let's make it green, just for the sake of good order. I've now got... I've got 10 3s. And I've got these 0s and 5s all over the place. And a peculiar ambiguity on 4s here. Now, what do I need in this column? It's 0 and 5 again, isn't it? It is 0 and 5. Okay. So how can it be? How can it be? Oh, this 4 is looking at that cell. Okay. That feels better then. So that cell is 0 or 5. That's 4. And for some reason, 5s are resolvable from this position. So let's try and work out why. So I have to put a 5. So there's going to be somewhere, if I put a 5, it's going to eliminate the possibility of a 5 in another column altogether. That's what we need. Which is unfortunately not... There it is. That one. If that's a 5, those two squares can't be 5 because of the diagonal rule. That's beautiful. So that's not 5, i.e. it's 0, which means that's 5. Now hopefully that 5 will rule something. It does. Don't ignore the row. Boom, boom, boom. That cell can't now be 5. So that's 0, which means that's 5, which means that's 0, which means that's 5, which means that's 0, which means that's 5. Now, has that done it? Yes, that 5 sees that cell, so that's 0, so that's 5. It's still... What about what's going on down here in the corner? I need the... please, something... Yes, that 5 sees that one, so that's 0, so that's 5, and that 5 sees the 5 in the corner, so that's 5. And the 5s are in a most peculiar arrangement in the middle rows. But this is, I think, the correct solution. Now, when I click tick, it doesn't look right, and that does not surprise me at all, because we cannot blame the magnificent software for not understanding this puzzle, which is completely and utterly mental. Because we have repeated digits all over the place in the rows, but hopefully not in the columns. Actually, let's just click tick again. Maybe is it highlighting? It's possible I've got an error in here. I mean, there's no way I'm ever going to spot it, is there? Why does it think these cells are? I've got no idea what the software is trying to detect here. Is it saying these cells are correct? And how would it know? I don't know. But Marty Sears, what a debut. That is an absolutely vicious puzzle with some crazy logic. I'm going to be fascinated to hear how many of you attempted this and how many of you solved it. And probably some of you are going to solve it in a depressingly quick time. But I absolutely loved it. Really weird logic. And now it's that time of day where I feel it's necessary for me to have a gin and tonic. So Marty, thank you very much for giving me the excuse, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.